I bought an Xbox from every generation, but they're all broken. So in this video, I'm gonna see if I can fix them, starting with this original Xbox Crystal Edition. So like I said, this is the Xbox Crystal Edition. It's sort of uncommon, and they go from anywhere between $100 to $200 on eBay used. So these are worth, a decent amount. I've got it all plugged in. Let's see if it turns on. It does. And disk tray. Ooh. Disk tray does not work. Okay. So we know that's a problem here. I don't know if it's the only problem, but that's what we're going to start with. And this has for sure been taken apart before. We're missing actually all the feet, and these two screws have clearly been unscrewed through the labels. So I don't know what we're gonna find out here. At least this thing starts up, but who knows what we'll find when we get inside. And with all the screws removed, we can flip it over and get it opened up. And here's the inside. So we definitely need to do some work in here. I do want to remove this whole middle piece here and have a look at the board. So I'm gonna get these cables removed. Now we just got a few more screws to remove and we can get this whole kind of mid piece out. I do appreciate that whoever worked on this before me, at least so far, seems to have not lost any screws. That's always nice. Okay, and with the hard drive out, now we can get to the disk drive. There we go. Yeah, we got a mod chip on there, that's what I thought. A little dusty in here, but the capacitors look good. And it looks like they did, at least a decent job on the mod chip. Can't quite tell, but wires are on there solid, so I don't know. I think we're probably good there. Let's figure out what's going on with this disk drive and why it won't come out and take a disk in. And with these 4 screws out, we can then lift this top lid up and see what we got on the inside. Definitely dirty. Got quite a bit of fuzz over in here. Bunch of dirt up in here, so this definitely needs a good cleaning. Not sure if there's anything else going on in here though. Need to get in and check the band on this thing. And the other side. The gears are all nice and greased up for the laser. That's good. Hopefully the laser's good on this. That almost looks like some sort of bug carcass. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Let's get down and check out this belt. Okay, now I'm not actually an expert on these, but what I'm gonna do is turn this gear to get this tray to come out. Almost. Just like that. I don't know if that's the best way to do it or not, but certainly one way that works. All right, so this belt, yeah, that's a problem, I think. So just watch the laser as I pull the tray in and out. You can see it'll kind of like bulge out as we go a different way. So first thing we're gonna do is replace this. I don't know if there's any other problems or not. Yeah, there's like a permanent bulge right there. So that's definitely a problem. I don't know if that's the only problem with this, but we're gonna fix that first. So I'm just gonna use a pair of tweezers, remove it from this little wheel right here, and remove it from that one. Yeah, you can see it's just in like that permanent position. So then we'll place this one on that wheel and then on this wheel, or pulley I should say, I guess. Okay, that looks better. Heck yeah, that might be the only problem with this thing. Obviously you can't feel it on camera, but it is pretty dry and brittle. Now with that replaced, you need to go through and get all of this dust and hair and gunk out of here. You can already see what that's gotten out just with that little bit. Okay, now that this is clean, I am gonna take this opportunity, since it's all apart, to re-grease the rails on this, and that'll just help this tray slide in and out better. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease along here. Don't wanna put a ton of grease anywhere on this disk drive, just because if you get too much on here, it can start getting places that you don't want it. So just gonna be putting it kind of along in places along here that rub against other plastic pieces. This should help with it coming in and out more smoothly. So I'm going to do a bunch more re-greasing, and then we'll get this thing back installed and see if that's all it took to fix this one. Okay, then I'm going to push this back and forth manually a few times just to help distribute that grease. Make sure it's not going anywhere that I don't want it to. That's feeling pretty good. Oh, we got a little dust here we missed. Okay, this is feeling good. I'm going to put this thing back in and see if that's all it took to fix it. And with the bottom metal piece on, we can install the top metal plate, top cover, and the 4 screws, and it's ready to go in. Okay, the disk drive's all in. Now I need to get the hard drive in. There we go. Plug in the cable. Just like that. All right, now we're ready to test it. Okay, got it all started up. Let's press the eject button and hope that tray comes out. Ah, of course it does. All right, so this one's fixed. So we fixed the Xbox Original Crystal Edition. Let's move on to the Xbox 360. Oh, and I did 3D print feet for this Xbox Original. I know that was bothering some of you, so you're welcome. This is the Xbox 360 Elite. It's the Resident Evil Edition. I bought this with the box and controllers and game and everything, and so this can actually go for $200 to $300 with the entire retail bundle like I have. Let's get it hooked up and see what's wrong. Okay, we're all plugged in. Let's see if it turns on. It does. Let's see if the disk drive works. Okay, it comes out, has a disk inside. We do show a picture on the screen. It is reading the disk. But when I listen to it, it's like trying to spin up and then stopping and spinning up again. And we have just open tray. So there seems to be a problem inside the disk drive. Usually it's a laser. Let's get this thing apart. All right, and I've never actually opened these things up before. But from what I've read, you start like that. Okay, that looks good so far. This must be the warranty sticker we got here. Next, we'll remove the hard drive, just like that. Now we need to remove this plastic piece. Just using this tool to push in on the plastic tabs as we go along. Looks like somebody may have already done this and broken some of them. Okay, and we got all of those off. Now, same thing on the other side. Now we have all of these little clips we need to release. Actually, I'm going to start over here. Okay, and there we go. And now the back side. Something's rolling around in there. They do make opening tools for these, and I think I actually do have one around here somewhere, but I don't know that I'm going to use it. Okay, there we go. Good so far. Now, same thing over here. Now we just got these ones. There we go. So this little tool is just pushing on these plates right here that lock into the tabs. So with those removed, should be able to pull up on this, and there we go. Now we're going to remove these screws, and these screws, and then we can get to the inside. With those screws out, we will remove the eject button. There we go. And now we are inside the Xbox. So this is the main part we need to get to. It actually isn't too dirty in here. It's actually looking pretty clean. I do have to say, this is one of, if not the first time I have ever taken an Xbox 360 apart. Okay, and it comes right out, and we need to remove these wires in the back. Just like that. And now let's get inside the disk drive and see what's going on. Okay, and with those 4 screws removed, we can void the warranty seal That's crazy. This thing has not been repaired before. And then I'm not sure which metal plate comes off of here. Okay. Top metal piece comes off. Just, come on, just like that. So we need to get this tray all the way out. There we go. So then we have better access to the laser on the inside. There we go. So the new laser, we need to remember to remove this solder blob right here. And then after that's done, we need to place this shaft right through these holes right here. And then this will just go around this shaft over here. So in order to do that part, we need to remove what looks like this. And that will just slide right out. And then I'm going to remove this screw. And then I'm going to loosen this screw as well. Then we'll remove this tab. Then we can bend this shaft around the tab right here, and that will help us lift it up enough so we can move it out of that groove right there, and then we have access to the laser. So I'm just going to unlock the locking tab for the ribbon cable. And now I will remove the old laser. And then before we install the new one, I need to remove this solder blob, so I'll do that next. Being careful not to touch the lens of the laser. Just going to apply a tiny bit of flux. There we go. And I'll bring my iron in and just remove it. Now we can install the new laser. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we'll hook the ribbon cable into the new laser. Just like that. Now we need to put these two metal tabs back on and the white piece back on, and then it's ready to go. Now I'm going to put just a tiny bit of grease on these rails. Since we're already in here, you probably don't really need it, but might as well since we're here. And since I did remove this shaft, I want to make sure that any grease that I've removed is replaced. Okay, now we'll get this thing back together and give it a test. Okay, it starts up, disc tray opens. Let's see what happens with the disc in it. And there we go, the game is all ready to play. So we've fixed the Xbox 360. Let's move on to the Xbox One. This is the Halo 5 Special Edition Xbox One, and it's in pretty good condition overall. These things can get pretty banged up, so I'm pretty happy with it. This also came with the Special Edition controller. These can be pretty hard to find, so I think with the controller, this will go for significantly more than $100, but we've got to get it hooked up and see what's wrong with it. So I bought this on eBay and I took a chance on this one. It's the 1 terabyte with controller, used, untested, no power brick included, functionality unknown, selling as is for parts of repair. Usually, if you buy something untested on eBay, that means somebody's tried to fix it and they failed, so they're selling it as untested to pretend that they don't know what's wrong with it. So I have it all plugged in. Let's see what happens when I push the button. Here we go. Starts up. I love that startup sound of these special editions. Oh, we automatically have a screen. Look at this. You'll need internet for this. Okay, let's connect it to the internet and see what happens. And then we can also check and see if this disk drive is working. Okay, we got it connected to the internet. Of course it's got to update, so this could be where this Xbox fails. And there we go. We get an error 203 when we're trying to update it. So let's do a troubleshoot. What I'm going to do is actually reset, since we don't need any of the stuff that's on it anyway. We're just going to remove everything and reset it. Let's see what happens. And with the reset, that seems to have fixed the issue. Now I need to get it all set up again so we can finish testing, and hopefully that's all that was wrong with this one. So it does play a disc, so this Xbox is all fixed up and ready to sell. I just checked on eBay and one sold recently for $180 plus almost $50 for delivery. That was because it included the fancy special edition controller, which we have. So I think this one will go for at least $180. Let's move on to the Xbox Series console. We have an Xbox Series X. This one is actually a prototype. So let's take a look at that one and see what's going on. So this Xbox Series X, like I said, it is a prototype model. Prototype, not for sale. And it's got some info on the front here. Actually, let me flip it around. Got a bunch of info up here. Probably somebody in the comment section will know what all of this means. But this actually had a ton of really dark black scratches. And as you can see right now, it looks pretty much brand new. It was very marked up when we first got it. Robert over on the Restorist channel restored this to basically brand new condition. I'll be sure to leave a link for his video at the end so you can see how he did that. But let's get this hooked up and see what happens. Now, I don't know how much this one's worth because I actually haven't seen any of these for sale or sold recently, so there's just no way for me to know how much this might be worth. But we gotta see if it even works first. Okay, we do have something on the screen. It's starting up, good. This is definitely a long startup process. That seems a little weird. And we just got a spinning wheel of death. I do have to say that so far in this video, we've actually had some pretty easy fixes, so that doesn't bode well for this one. Given that it's the last one and we've been able to fix everything so far, this one's probably gonna be a pain. Oh, here we go, checking for updates. All right, well, that's something. And there's a problem with the update. Well, yeah, it's not connected to the network, first of all. Oh, it can't see any connections. I think it's time to take this apart and see what's going on the inside. So with these two screws out, we can get the back cover off and see the inside. Now I need to get this whole sandwich out right here so we can check to make sure those Wi-Fi modules are connected and then see if we can troubleshoot them if it looks like maybe they're faulty. So one of the boards we need to check is this one. The other one is under the power supply over here, so just got to get down to those. I'm going to take the belt off. Then we can remove this one. And initially I don't see anything that looks like it's bad. I'm not 100% sure that these are even meant to work. Maybe with this prototype console, maybe it's not supposed to connect to the internet. I don't think that's the case, but it is possible. I was also noticing on this power supply that we have an engineering sample, not for sale. So maybe these Wi-Fi boards are also engineering samples. I don't know. Now let's see what we've got under, oh, I gotta take this off first. Forgot about that. So that removed. Okay, now power supply comes out. And this is the other board that we need to take a look at. And also initially I see no problems here. I think what I'm gonna do is just replace both of these boards with boards that I know work. And then we'll see if that'll make it so we can connect to Wi-Fi. So there is the old one removed. And this is the one that I know works. Now power supply back on. Actually, I didn't even need to disconnect this cable. Okay, there we go. And now we'll install this board, put those screws in, then we'll get this thing back together enough so we can test it. Okay, back together enough to test. It powers on, let's see what happens. Okay, so far same error. Let's see if we can check our network. Wireless. Did it do that before? Hey, there we go. Okay, so we do actually have connection showing up at least. So I'm gonna get connected and see what happens. And there was a problem with the update. So I gotta look up this error and see if it's something we can fix. I have a feeling it might be an issue with the SSD on this. I hope not, but that's kind of my gut feeling. I hope not, because you can't just replace those, unfortunately. So I'm trying an offline update, which means I downloaded OSU1 from Microsoft's website for this Xbox. I have a USB drive in a USB port in the back, and so far we're having success here. It's verifying, going really fast, and now it'll turn off. It should turn back on and finish the update, but we'll see. Okay, and now it's just taking us to the let's update screen. So let's try this again. Ah, no. So it seems like it does fine with the offline update. It seems like once we go to update over Wi-Fi, it just gives us this error. I've replaced both of the Wi-Fi boards in this, so there's not really much left for me to do. I think what I might try is take the SSD out of this one and clone it onto a different SSD, and then try that. At this point, there's just not really anything to lose. It's clearly not gonna work to update it. So let's give it a try and see what happens. I'm actually not too sad we have to take this apart further, because I do kind of want to see if there is anything interesting about this, since it is a prototype. Okay, here we go. All right, and this is the SSD right here. So we'll get that out. This doesn't have the cover that goes over it, which a lot of them do, so that is kind of interesting. Okay, and here is the SSD. Let's get this cloned. It's got the Western Digital 1 terabyte. This is slot A with our source disk. This is slot B with our target disk, so we're gonna be cloning whatever's on this onto this. And we will power it on. Both lights show up, showing that it is connected to both drives. And here we go. Okay, and it's done. So I'm going to power it off. And then get the SSDs out of here. I hope this works. This is really our last hope with this, so. Thing is, these SSDs are keyed to the board, and so if the SSD goes bad, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so we're going to put the source over here. And we're going to use the target and plug in here. See what this does for us. There we go. I'm going to put some of this thermal paste on here. Okay, I honestly have no idea if this is going to work. I've actually never done this before. Let's see if it does. Okay, looks completely the same so far. We do get something. Okay, we're going to immediately see what this does for us. Okay, here we go. 1%, 2%. Ah, no. So unfortunately, there's just nowhere else to go for us with this prototype Xbox Series X. I wish there was a way we could fix it, but I just have no other options. Even though we weren't able to fix the prototype Xbox Series X, we were able to fix all of the rest of these Xboxes, so I still call that a win. If you want to see a video where I tried to fix every PlayStation ever, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now, so you can come hang out with me over there and see if I can fix all the PlayStations. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.